Super wide grip pull-ups are one of the hardest variations you could do that aren't unconventional. Anyone can build up to them, and anyone who gets a respectable number, I'm gonna say 45 pounds for at least 10 repetitions, will have an impressive back. Not only in terms of width, but also thickness. So if you wanna humble yourself, you consider yourself to be strong at regular chins and medium grip pull-ups, you can do at least 15 repetitions. Try the super, and I use the word super because it should look like your ape index. Use the super wide grip pull-up and blow up everything. You will get super strong at all pull-up variations, and you will get super jacked like a competitive bodybuilder. And for anyone who says, oh, these are easier, you're cheating yourself because you're looking at the absolute placement on the bar rather than examining this from an anthropometry perspective. Like I said, the upper arm cannot be straight up and down. It needs to be at an angle, diagonal, such that it's even difficult to unbend a couple of inches. And when you get to the top, it's hard. In fact, when you go to failure, when you go for those grinded reps at the end range might be where you fail, which explains why so many lifters are only bringing their eyes to the bar. But they can get more out of the movement if they did full range of motion, because that's what gives you the best lat contractions. See, when you're in the bottom, yeah, you're getting a stretching component, but the lats don't have the best leverage. It's only towards the top where the extra shoulder adduction is giving you the squeeze that is literally comparable to an iliac lat pull down. So either you do cable pulls in the sagittal plane using somewhat of a neutral grip, or you do full range of motion in the frontal plane with a wide grip, which can also be on lat pull downs, which I advise in addition to your super wide grip pull-ups if you're currently not strong enough to do them, or just to accumulate additional volume, because you're gonna get so weak that maybe by the end of the workout, you can't even hit your own body weight. So you'll have no choice but to do the lat pull down. That said, it's important to do this exercise right before you load it, because I don't think guys understand the extent to which this difficulty is. Like, it sounds like an over-exaggeration until you try it. Like, I can do 3 plates for reps on basically every pull-up variation, 4 plates for 1 rep max. However, I can't even do 2 plates for reps on the super wide grip. And even when I'm cutting at a lower body weight, I struggle with a plate and a half. When I say that 45 pounds is strong, especially if you weigh between 170 and 200, yes, it is. And I'm gonna make a bold statement. Anyone who can do sets of 10 with 45 pounds using proper range of motion, chin clearing the bar, not just your eyes, controlling the weight, no kipping, keeping that back tightness instead of rounding towards the top, which is all too common. No, if you look like a freaking elevator or Smith machine, it's just up and down with perfection. You can't have a small back with a 45 pound super wide grip pull for reps. Not happening. In fact, your back might look better than someone who could do 100 pounds on chin-ups. That's how difficult it is. And you see my back, you see the gains. My only regret is that I didn't do this exercise sooner. It is probably the most effective pull-up variation you can do that isn't all wacky. And going back to the difficulty aspect, I don't use that word lightly just to be hardcore, or to say like, if you're strong at anything that's difficult, you're gonna be huge, because that's a giver. One thing that needs to be said is the superior stimulus fatigue ratio. It is so good on this exercise, and keep in mind it's already amazing on pull-ups, that you will instantly get very strong on your narrower grips. Like I said, if you find narrower to be easier, then you're not actually doing a wide grip pull-up. It's not possible to have a wide grip, like actually wide, that's stronger than your closer. And the ultimate proof is looking at street lifting competitions where guys are striving to be number 1 in the world or for their weight class. You never see the super wide grip. You can see slightly outside shoulder width apart. You'll see vertical forms, but not all the way here like your ape index. Not happening. So when you get strong in the worst possible position, not to mention the additional grinding towards the top, that when you switch to variations that automatically have fast pop out of the hole, you'll notice that you're even more explosive, even if you never trained to be fast, because this is pure brute force. Like, there's zero way to hide it. Some guys might have good pound for pound strength with the narrower grips, especially if they're lighter, but you can't hide it with the super wide grip. Like, I've yet to see it. You have to be jacked. You have to be strong. And in my personal experience of treating the super wide grip pull-up as a main variation for the entirety of my cut, and actually well over a year of even bulking, I managed to improve my vertical pulling strength such that when I got shredded, I got 8 one-arm pull-ups. And this was with 0 specificity. So I want you to think about this. One-arm pull-ups is a relatively narrow grip, and just getting 1 is hard. My previous best was 6 reps. I managed to get 8 reps at the same body weight, which is a +2 despite not doing the exercise for over a year. This was automatic strength carryover on a variation that is basically pure brute force to begin with. There's no other way to explain this. Like, getting a +1 is already difficult enough on a one-arm pull-up. Because think about it, it's 100% of your body weight with 1 freaking arm. I mean, I don't have to explain this to you, but the carryover is real. And then even with ring pull-ups, which are also more difficult, you would think it's easier because of rotation, but no, it's the opposite. I managed to do 1 times body weight on that. So both variations that I did not max out on, that I did not do lower repetitions on, that I did not include high specificity, that I strictly stuck to controlled, pause, less weight variations, managed to still get me stronger, even though that was not the goal. What does that say? Strength to strength. I continuously prove this to you guys year after year. At some point, you're just gonna have to listen. I'm giving you the secrets for free. Everything is documented. You just have to listen to me. If you want an elite back, do weighted calisthenics. You can get super fucking far. Okay, and what I've done is not exceptional in the sense that a huge percentage of you can't get close to it. I'm just saying, you just need to embrace the truth. And I've given you the truth. Super wide grip pull-ups are the truth. And it's not just me saying this. This is going back decades ago. In fact, when we look at the silver era, which is basically the last real era of natural bodybuilding, I mean, you have some real natties today, but it's hard to find. But I'm saying on a wide scope, bronze and silver, right? Out of all the pull-up variations for hypertrophy, which is what they did, because they didn't have access to all these machines, and weighted calisthenics was used to build muscle, which is why I keep telling you to fucking do it. Out of all the variations, and they did them all, what did they universally agree upon was the best mass builder? The super wide grip pull-up.
Nothing. I don't care what exercise you do will bring out the lats like that ass. The lats just seem like you want to burst out of the skin, but it's got to be wide. It's got to be wide now. It's unbeaten. That was my main exercise for the back. Everybody look for that secret exercise. Months and years we tried to find out what is the exercise that works best for us. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't even think of chins. You go to the gym, see all those damn machines. Chin's the last thing on your mind. Just try it. Why did you do it? And the wider the grip, the weaker you are.
You can either listen to optimal bros who say that this does not build your lats, that you need to have elite genetics to get far with it, or you can listen to the silver era goats who tried all the pull-ups and said, this is the one. And I'm telling you, it is the one. Now, the only con, there's literally just one con, is that it can be hard on the joints and you're more susceptible to overuse in the armpit area. However, most guys who get hurt here are using form, myself included. I think I got overused 3 or 4 times before the problem completely went away. And what kept giving me the issue was rushing on the way down, not controlling the eccentric. If you fix that, just that simple tweak, you're good. Then the other thing, the super wide grip doesn't just have to be with pronation. You can use a neutral grip. So if you attach D handles to the tips, or Swissies, or Angles 90s, or gymnastic rings, it doesn't matter. If you rotate the upper arm, but you're still super wide, that's going to reduce some of the repetitive joint stresses, just enough to make a noticeable difference, and trust, you will feel it. Otherwise, you can go from super wide to regular wide and just alternate between those two if you want to maintain the specificity. Then the final thing is just not overdoing the weights. So if you're doing body weight, chest to bar for higher reps, regular body weight for higher reps done with slow and controlled tempos, as well as capping your loads to say 25 to 45 pounds, or for the super strong guys, 45 to 25, then the risk of getting hurt goes down. Then there's alternating between super wide grip pull-ups and super wide grip lat pull downs in the sense that you don't have to double down on the super wide grip for every vertical pull. One workout could be calisthenics, super wide grip, and then your pull down is going to be something more neutral. So something like my spreader pull down. Then your second workout could be the opposite, a neutral, closer grip weighted pull up, followed by a lat pull down that is a super wide grip. This way, there's perfect blending. You're still hitting those precise joint angles, but the weights and strength curves are slightly different and possibly playing a motion depending how you're adjusting the body angles, being more arch versus hollow body or slightly more vertical on the cables versus diagonal. So you can change things and you should not be getting hurt here with proper blending, proper form, and of course being strong enough to handle the movement. When I said this is hard, which hopefully it came across strong in this video, I mean, I hope you're already strong at regular pull-ups, because if you try rushing into this, like, you might not have that tissue capacity. So please keep your ego in check. And if you have to, use freaking reverse bands, use the assisted pull-up machine. Like, you're still getting the benefits of being in that position, getting the biasing effect. And if you're doing prisoner style workouts with this grip, I can't even imagine the kind of physique you'll build. It makes sense that those who could do 10 by 10 develop what they called wings. Because yes, that's literally what you will acquire. This is the ultimate more or less weight variation. Zero compromise in terms of stimulus. It's so effective that many won't even have to row. You're building the teres, rhomboids, traps, rear delts, lats. What more could you ask for from a pull-up variation? It does it all. All right, so just try it. Use a super wide grip for at least 3 months and you will notice remarkable improvements in your overall back development. You don't have to argue about what's the best vertical pull. Stick to what's time proven and you will never go wrong. And I'll just close off by saying this. Old school wisdom has never failed me. I think that says a lot in this current fitness sphere of misinformation and trendy nonsense.